And like sometimes I think it's just unfair that like artists have to go through that, and I don't think they should. 5 p.m. I thought it was due at 11:59. Oh my god, I only have 30 minutes to do the assignment. Hello everyone, my name is Imview. I'm just another digital artist in this world of 7 million people. Now, if you're my family and you're watching this, please know that I am studying right now. I'm studying for my thermodynamics class, and you don't gotta worry about it. But if you're not my family, then feel free to listen in and watch this video, or not. You can just set your phone aside or minimize the tab and just listen in. Now, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. I managed to get someone's attention for more than 2 seconds, which is pretty rare according to science and research, you know, like the smart people. So not me. I mean, I'm an engineer, but let's be honest, the only thing I can really do is just calculate the flow of the water coming out of the pipe, assuming that it's ideal. But before we get into the topic of this video, I just want to explain my background in order to understand where I'm coming from. So first off, I'm Asian. That should speak tons of what's expected of me and other Asians in my age range and even younger generations. So it all started when I was about 8 years old, and my class went to go to the library to rent out some books. And so I rented out some books on the solar system, and I read a whole bunch about gas giants, and I loved everything about learning about stuff like Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and yes, I will say Uranus instead of Uranus, because anus, if I didn't know it was like associated with a butt, I would have thought, you know, it was such a pretty name. And so I will continue to say Uranus instead of Uranus, because I would rather have, if like I were to be named, I would rather have the name anus than urinal. Just saying. So back to my wonderful backstory. I started reading more books about space, and I learned stuff about dark matter, dark energy, quirks, all the fancy stuff about quantum physics that to this day I still don't know why, still don't know how it works, but you know, it sounds really fancy. And so I decided in middle school that I wanted to be a theoretical physicist. So I did not know what that meant, but it sounded so smart. I sounded so proud of myself. I would brag to my family, to my parents, like, oh my god, I'm gonna be a theoretical physicist when I grow up. Like, I'm so smart, right? And then flash forward to high school when I took a physics class, and honestly, the only thing I remember was force equals mass times acceleration. And that was only because my physics teacher constantly, he would say, "Ama," because that was supposed to help remind us about that law. Honestly, like that's the only thing I remember from physics. I do not remember anything else at all. And so afterwards, I took AP chemistry, and lo and behold, I fell in love. Not with general chemistry, which was like the majority of the year, but organic chemistry, which was the last month of, you know, my senior year. And that's when I decided that I wanted to be a chemical engineer. And I know there's like a lot of stereotypes about Asians being smart or whatever, and you know, I fit the stereotype. I was really smart, I got straight A's, I was good at chemistry and math, and I liked chemistry and math, and being a chemical engineer was just like a no-brainer decision. I should go for it. I mean, I have the brains for it, so why not? And I know I talk about myself being smart all the time, so let me tell you the dumbest story that I had in high school just to humble myself. So it was actually in my physics class when I asked the professor, like, hey, how can I get a better grade on my exam? Because I want to end the semester with an A. And he was like, just get every answer correct on the exam. And I was like, really? That's all I need to do? And I did not understand what he meant until college. Like, really? I was 4.0 GPA student and you didn't understand that concept? But yeah. And that's pretty much my backstory that led to me deciding to be an engineer. Anyway, I was always interested in art growing up. I mean, I never saw it as like a potential career, given, you know, my Asian heritage, where the only 3 choices for your career is either doctor, lawyer, or engineer. And so engineering was kind of like the only option for me because, well, I couldn't be a doctor because I don't like blood. And also now, having seen a lot of med students, I kind of value my sleep and my life outside of school. And for being a lawyer, I just cry every single time I get in an argument. So that's also out of the picture. So engineer is like the only choice that makes sense. I'd also like to note that not once in my backstory did I ever mention art. I mean, it was always something that I did on the side. And I think even if I were to have that skill when I was younger, I don't think I would have went for being an artist, because I've never heard of someone making so much money off of being an artist unless you were like working at Disney or something. And if you weren't working at like a big company like Disney, then you were just like considered a starving artist who has a miserable life. I'll admit though that I did want to major in art, but knowing my parents, they would have never supported me for being an artist. And it's not really surprising or anything, because in a lot of cases, Asian families immigrate over here to the United States, and they often come here to have a better life. They want a better life for their children. So the life of an artist just isn't something that an Asian parent would want for their child. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't know any other Asians that their family supported them being an artist or anything that's not the 3 big careers that I mentioned. Unless, of course, like, they were prodigies or something, but, you know, I wasn't a prodigy. Like, I just drew anime that I watched, and I just drew my OCs for the animes that I watched. It was, like, the only art that I ever did. It wasn't really until I got my iPad that I decided to take my art seriously and actually learn concepts, like, work on my foundation. I started hearing or seeing all these artists that would make money off of their YouTube or Patreons or even just, like, commissions. And it made me start thinking seriously that I could make money off of my art, and that the typical 9-to-5 job might not be my future, that I could literally just be like a freelancer or something. But before I could even think about having like a 9-to-5 job, I just thought, like, before I can even get to that, I have to get internships and I have to get better grades or even just pass my classes, and that just kind of wasn't happening. And so naturally I looked to art, and I started opening up my commissions, trying to grow my Twitter page and just like my art page and Instagram page, all of that. And I saw that I just wasn't getting the engagement that I wanted, despite me watching like or doing all my research that I could on how to grow my account. It was really discouraging, and I think it was like my lowest point. It's just like, I can't be an engineer. I keep failing my classes, and I can't be an artist because I'm not getting the engagement that is required. And it was like really heartbreaking, because I grew up with people telling me that I was smart and that I was gonna go places. And I even had people telling me that my art was like so good that I should make so much money. But nothing was going right. For the life of me, I couldn't really focus on my classes, and my art just wasn't really making me happy anymore. And I just remember for like nights on end, I just kept thinking, like, what is my future? Because I can't envision my future as someone who's ambitious. Like, the future was everything for me, but for a long time I just couldn't see it. There's always like this like burning desire to like know what I want to be, but with failing all my classes and everything and not getting any engagement on my art, I was just so like lost. Like, I don't even know what I want to do anymore. And that was my life for months. After a while, I kind of just decided to just focus on one thing, and I started doing just engineering, just like focusing on my classes. I just got into the mindset, it's just that, you know, like, engineering is much more stable. Like, the jobs are much more stable than being an artist, especially for like someone on my level. Like, I'm pretty much an amateur. And so I just decided, like, I'll just keep focusing my classes, and I'll keep doing art as a side job till I can make something out of it. And I just got into the mindset where I didn't care anymore, like, if I didn't get any more likes or retweets, because I forgot for a long time why I did art, and it was because I just wanted to see my imagination come to being. Since then, I decided to just create this YouTube channel to not only showcase my art, but just also tell stories, because I do like talking a lot, as you can tell. And that's pretty much it. That's my backstory, plus struggles of being an engineer. So yeah, if you made it this far into the video, you know so much about me that I've never told anybody else. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. Oh my god, What do YouTubers say? Like and subscribe, whatever. Bye.